Welcome back for our picks. We got all our anger out of the way.
If you guys are just tuning in for these picks, you might want to go tune into the other segment and watch us rant and rave a little bit about some officiating. It's trust me, some good watching.
Yeah, but we're on to the picks now. We're going to start, let's work our way down and work our way up to the top here. We started 5A and JCA getting a home game against Tinley Park, coming off a dominating performance. And you know what? The playoffs starting next week for JCA. This is the last preseason tune-up game for them.
Yeah, I said it last week of the show. When everybody was 0-0 at the beginning of the year, JCA was a favorite. They lost everybody, got some hurt, they ended up 5-4. You know what? Going to playoffs, they're 0-0 again. They're healthy, they're back to playing. You know, they had 51 points at halftime. Ty Isaac played the first quarter, had 3 touchdowns, and was on the bench already. He was able to get in there, taste of the game. You travel up to a 7-2 team, and you end up, just dismantling 58-0. Now, not only do you win as a 12 seed, you end up having the low seed, double-digit seed on the other side win. Tinley Park beats Chicago Westinghouse. So now you have 2 double-digit. Oh yeah, you're right. It didn't matter. You have 2 double-digit teams, playing, and yeah, JCA is going to come in there this one, mop the floor with them again. It's going to be, it's going to be a 1 o'clock kickoff, guys. Don't be late. JCA fans, when you're out the tailgate in the parking lot, you might want to get into the stadium a little bit early this one because you know what? This game's going to be over in about 8 minutes.
Can they tailgate during the game? Like, can they go in, watch the first quarter, and go back out and tailgate some more?
Well, they probably can. I mean,
put the burgers on,
Put the burger on the grill, go and watch the first game, and then come back out, there's a lot of them guys out there holding them signs now, like for them, going out of business things. Hire one of them guys to come and watch the burgers for you, and then go in there and watch the first quarter because the game's going to be over in 8 minutes. And start preparing for that trip to Keeneland next week because that's going to be a doozy, guys. Yeah, that game is going to be a tough one.
That's where you look back and say JCA, you might have won at Westinghouse and be traveling to Westinghouse this week.
And get Keeneland home
because this could be that goes back. Keeneland's not in this area. This could be a game where they might not get any breaks from the refs, even though I tend to say JCA tends to get breaks from refs in most locations. But maybe Keeneland's one of those places where they won't. So time will tell. But we both say JCA in this one pretty easily.
In a mop up.
Yeah, really easily actually. What about 6A? We got another ESCC team. ESCC teams, all these ESC teams keep winning.
Except for the top of the conference. Marist,
yeah, everybody else keeps winning here. We got Notre Dame. They're rolling along. I said last week, neither of us thought they would win. But if they got past the first game, they could make some noise. They got past that first game, and they're playing at Chicago Public Schools.
Well, and what we said last week is
Steinmetz, right? Is that what they're playing?
I think so. Yeah, we said
it doesn't matter.
Foreman.
I think Foreman lost to Steinmetz, right? I don't
cares? Remember. It could be Edmondson. It doesn't really matter for us. All we know is that we said last week that we didn't think that Glenbrook North team would let or Grays Lake North team would let Chris James really start get off and run that as well as he has. God, were we wrong? Kid went for 3 bills and 7 touchdowns. This kid, if he keeps running this way, he could run them to Champaign. I mean, we've seen teams before who've had,
Ty Isaac last year.
John Durgo back in the old Morris days, where everybody in the stadium knows what's happening. The ball's going to him, but nobody can stop him. And that's
Capri Ribs could have done a couple years ago. They didn't play Glenbrook West in the
first round. When a kid like this is on that much, he can single-handedly carry this team. And you know what? 7 touchdowns in a game, he single-handedly can. Obviously, they probably would have won anyway, but even if he didn't have that many. But hey, this kid's on fire, and they're gonna stomp this publicly too.
The big key is he wants to get big runs this week because if I'm Notre Dame, Coach Hennessy, I'm very lenient. I don't want him more than 20 carries this week. After 44 carries last week, keep it under 20 this week. Get that win. Get him on the bench.
Get him the Ty Isaac grab. Get up by 35 in the first quarter, and get him the Gatorade and sit down.
Get him the rest here. Try to keep him under 20 carries. Try to win this game the way you're capable of winning. Don't let them stick around where you have to get him 30 carries. Get him 20. Get him out of there. Get him as rest as he can for the next game because the next one's gonna be a lot tougher than this one because Notre Dame's gonna roll.
Oh, it'll be easy.
And we're moving up to 7A. Let's go Downers North. Big upset of the week. One of the other big upsets of the week. They beat top seed Batavia, which neither of us thought was that surprised by that one. They travel now to Thornton I just got some inside information from our stringer Matt LaCrenne. The last time two teams met was the 1990 championship game
Really?
at ISU,
Wow.
where Downers North, he said, he believed had like a 21-12 lead, and they ended up losing 31-21.
You know, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was an Edwards at quarterback playing that back then
No, actually,
too.
there wasn't. It was Dan Marino.
Dan Marino from the Dolphins.
No, the other Dan Marino, that, as LaCrenne said, it was about 5'9". He was one quarterback.
So
for
the
Downers
one
North
year,
that
the
year.
only year that they didn't have an Edwards playing quarterback, because you know when they were successful way back in the day is when the other Edwards were out there.
But yeah, they're at Thornton right now. Thornton was a 5 seed. They beat the 4 seed, so a battle of underdogs playing this week, and I kind of like Downers North's chances in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, them Thornton schools, Thornton Ridge, you know, Thornton Wood, you know, TF South. I don't give them a chance at much of football. I see them play. They're usually a one-trick pony. You know, if you practice up good against them, against their scheme, you should be okay. You know, Coach Wander's a good coach. I think they'll practice up good, and you know, I'm gonna take Downers North. I do like the chances.
Downers North used the, you know, they were geared up to stop the out. Batavia was geared up to stop the outside game, and that let Salter go right up the middle, and that's how they score their points. We'll see what Thornton's gonna have. Thornton has more speed, so they might try to stack up the middle and make a run outside on you. Either way, though, when you have the inside-outside game going, Edwards can throw a couple nice passes to Oli Kama, or however you pronounce that kid's name, his name. They could, you know, they're a dangerous team right now. And 5-4, they limped into the playoffs. But maybe that division's a lot better than people are giving them credit for. You know, with Lions winning,
and they got a pretty nice road there. I mean, I said Batavia we thought was a weak dynamo anyway. So I was giving Batavia the upper hand because of they play, you know, their home games are pretty usually back when I used to be up there were pretty well, you know, attended and pretty loud. But you know, who knows? People might thought, you know, 9-0 versus 5-4, screw, you know, we're gonna come out there. Well, folks, you should have went because your team's done.
Yeah. So I mean, we both like Downers North in this one. That sets up a possible quarterfinal matchup. How fun would that be if they played Bennett? Who's our next game we're talking about? Bennett and Oswego, that hated Oswego team that we talked about.
Oswego, you better bring the same referees for this one because I'm telling you
that's your
right
only
now,
chance of winning the game.
I believe so. I mean, Bennett, you know, all puns intended, is be all jacked up for this game, guys. Because they got like 5 of them on the team. You got Jack Benavides, you got Jack Toner, you got Jack Urick, you got, you got like 8 Jacks on the team. This team's going to come down to one Jack. Jack Benavides is going to just, I mean, this kid is a sophomore, guys. He's the real deal. I mean, you know, Notre Dame, you know, is looking at him already. I mean, the kid's getting looks, some big offers. This kid's the real deal. I mean, you know, they haven't seen passing there since back from Dan Lefevre. I mean, you know, so they're this kid's the real deal. He's everything that they need, and I don't know. You saw Oswego's defense, how they stopped the pass at all, because if they couldn't stop Kurt Palandak, who was a nice quarterback, but nowhere near the passer, he's just gonna go crazy at him.
And McGlady, yeah, you asked about that. And, you know, you've seen the Bennett offense play. I've seen the Oswego team now play. And what I take out Oswego has a good running back, Nikhil Stewart. He's going to be a tough guy to stop. They have a big offensive line. So if Oswego can possess the ball, which for some reason they got away from it against Plainfield North, and started giving it to their fullback and having the quarterback run and throwing passes, which is unnecessary. You know, they did have 3 touchdown passes to this one guy, but if Oswego can run the ball, they're going to stay in this one. The big question for Bennett is they only beat Andrew 24-10, which isn't overly impressive. They have to hold on to the ball themselves. Bennett does have a problem with turnovers a little bit. That's going to be the way that Oswego is going to stay in the game. Oswego defensively, Kurt Palandak was 0 for 6 in the first half for Plainfield North. They stopped the passing game. The fourth quarter, though, they didn't stop it for nothing. I mean, Palandak had 198 yards passing in the fourth quarter. And especially on the deep balls, Oswego had really big problems with miscommunication on deep balls, and that is where Bennett can get them.
They can hit those 40-yard strikes. I mean, their line plays well. I'm talking about Oswego being a run team, though. I mean, yes, Ty Isaac and Tyler Reach were out of that game, but I mean they stacked that line up against Iowa, who's a nice little hardcore. I mean, not all the speed there, but in the middle anyway, they were able to kind of bottle him up. Now I don't know if Oswego has the guys to get outside speed wise. Historically they're not a real.
Stewart can do it. Stewart's
All right,
a solid player.
Then they kind of got to make sure they shore that up. But like I said, Oswego has to. I think the only way Oswego can win is if they hold the ball and really go 3 yards of cloud dust, matriculate the ball on the field and score. Don't give the Bennett offense a chance to get on them, because anytime that Bennett offense is on there, 7 points is waiting to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Oswego played at Oswego. I mean, I've been in Oswego games in my last 10 years of my life, and I know that the refs will try to make that one interesting. But at Lyle, at Benedictine University, big time stage, I like Bennett in this one. I have a feeling it might be close, pretty close, but I think Bennett's going to pull away, because if you really look at it, Bennett's had a couple of blowouts, but they've played a lot of close games this year.
And they know how to play close games.
They do, so that's why I think Bennett's going to pull this one out.
And one thing Bennett does have, they got a kicker.
They do.
Bennett got a kicker. I see him kick the ball against JC. That's something in high school you don't always have. It's always a luxury.
So we missed an extra point in that game. And
right. Bennett's got a kicker, so you get down a close game and you need a field goal. Kick and pull through for you.
So there we go. We're 4 for 4 and agreeing with it. I think we're going to go 6 for 6 today.
I think so.
We'll go with Maine South. They get Conan at home. You know what? I'm changing my stance on Maine South right now.
You putting Conan?
Not quite. I think Maine South's going to get beat. I'm going to say right now, I think they're going to get beat.
Loyola?
I definitely think Loyola's
going to win. I'm going to hold reservations until then.
I'm still thinking Stevenson, Glenbard North, and then next game could get them. I'm thinking Conan's going to stay in this game. Maine South still has not shown that finishing burst this year.
We talk about a one-trick pony.
They were up, yeah, exactly. They were up 35-0 to Lane, and Lane had 35-7, had the ball back, and it took a turnover, or else they could almost, they wouldn't really credit back in the game, but they could have made it competitive. And you're right, Matt Elvedi and everyone else basically on his team. He throws 5 touchdown passes, and somehow somebody can contain him. They're going to beat him.
And that's why I said before that I don't think, beginning of the year, I thought, that, okay, Bolingbrook can't repeat because Maine South was a team that I thought could come in there and get him, that this team was going to be a lot more balanced this year coming into this thing.
I think Bolingbrook's more balanced than Maine South.
Oh yeah,
especially defensively.
Oh well, as I'm saying, if you had that defense, that Bolingbrook defense is not going to let him get them passes. Their front, if you have a front grouping who put pressure on the quarterback, and you have a couple DBs who's going to be back there, you're going to beat Maine South because they don't run the ball at anybody, and they haven't shown it yet.
13 for 92 is what their running back had. And that's
right.
It's okay.
They haven't shown yet that they can go out there and. If you take the pass away from them, now granted no one has taken the pass away from them yet, so they haven't had to, but they haven't shown that they can go out there and run the ball on anybody. And I don't know if it's going to be, the Glenn Brooks, if it's going to be, Stevenson, Loyola, somebody on that side of the bracket, or if it's, if Bolingbrook's gets through, if it's going to be there. But you're right, all you have to do is stop that pass attack. And you're right, I do agree with you that I'm starting to get less and less excited about Maine South as this year goes on, because I'm not seeing the multi-dimension.
Yeah, so both agree. I think Maine South's going to take this one.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you think easily. I'm starting to second guess on it. Easy. Conan won 14-0. I want to say for New Trier, and New Trier. I know we don't want to play the he play game, but New Trier gave Maine South a decent game. I mean. So I'm thinking 2 touchdowns.
And the things, this is the playoffs.
Anything can happen.
We see it every year. Marist lost. We see it every year that those teams are really. So I think this week there's going to be a couple more reallys. And this could be one of them.
Yeah, I'm liking 2 touchdowns right now. And in the last game we have this one would be you have a 1 versus a 9 seed. You think the 9 seed would be another one of those situations like the 1-8 Conant and Maine South game, but this is more of a 9 versus 1. This is, I think Nico Valley is going to come with a chip on their shoulders. The number 1 seed that's not expected to win the game,
right.
But I think they're going to make this good game.
You want to know, you want to talk about a team that has everything in their favor right now, it's Bolingbrook. How do you go in there really, practice for a year for Nico Valley when you don't know who's going to play quarterback? You know what? Hell, you don't know if they're both going to play quarterback. Aaron Bailey, Quincy Woods last game, the funniest thing to watch. Quincy comes out there, nervous sophomore, his first playoff game, puts the ball in Jaden House's belly, and Jaden's blocking. He miscommunication somewhere, ball falls on the ground. Now this is down 7-0 already. Ball falls on the ground. The minute the defense goes out there, Aaron Bailey's up warming up. Because hey, you're going to have 14-0, you might need to ride your horse. Bailey's up warming up. Defense holds. Bailey sits down. Come back out there. Woods takes the snap. On the option, fumbles. Sandberg falls on the ball. Defense goes out there. Aaron Bailey gets up warming up. Sandberg goes for a field goal. Parker Westphal blocks it. Aaron Bailey sits down. Aaron Bailey never warmed up again. Because once the second quarter got going, Quincy Woods got going. He had 100 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 one-yard runs. He had a 54-yard run at the end that really bumped his yards and everything up. But the kid's a good quarterback. He's a completely different kind. He threw some nice balls out to Chandler Pekarsky, which had been kind of a lost weapon for them after Bailey went down. But how do you stop? You have this 5'6" kid who runs the option in there, with the belly that feeds the Huff, who just here's a kid who just banged the middle of that Sandberg. He was 1 year, 2 yards, 1 year, 2 yards. Then all of a sudden, he just banged them kids until they just couldn't take it no more. And all of a sudden, he was, now he was 8 yards, 10 yards, 8 yards. He just, but how do you, if you gear up for him, now you get Aaron Bailey coming back here, in a process shotgun who's going to, pass the ball and he's going to run himself and run the option. If you gear up thinking Bailey's going to play and you get Woods, how do you really practice when you don't know who's playing? And like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if this is the same thing. If Woods doesn't come out there and start again, see how it goes, and if Bailey comes in there and if Bailey starts, Woods might come in and spell him.
Let me tell you something. If Woods starts this game, they're going to find themselves behind again. And Yuko Valley is better than Sandberg.
Oh yeah.
You get yourself behind by 2 touchdowns. I don't know if Coach Ialo has the same luxury of saying, okay, when we get 2 touchdowns behind, we can put Bailey in. Because 2 touchdowns might be too much to overcome.
Oh, I agree.
Especially with a rusty quarterback that hasn't really played in the past month and a half. I'm leaning towards Bolingbrook in this one slightly because I think Bailey's going to be healthy enough and is going to actually start in this game. And with using Woods in there, like you said,
right.
Trick plays.
I expect Aaron to start completely, but I do think Quincy will get in there.
It does give him a different look, but this is going to be the interesting game. This is the game where if Bolingbrook's going to lose, I think it's going to be this game. This is the perfect time for them to lose. Perfect time. You got a rusty Bailey, and you got one of the best teams in 8A.
Right.
Because Bailey's only going to get, unless he gets re-injured, he's only going to get better the rest of the time because he's going to get more comfortable getting back in there.
Oh, yeah. No, I said it before, we're talking about some of our local teams, and I said in my opinion, Bolingbrook and JCA, I think, are both one win away from, they're one game away from the state. I think JCA is the next week against Caneland. I think Bolingbrook is this game right here.
Well, I totally agree with you about JCA because I think that Monsignor or Marion can both definitely.
And I think yeah, Mount Carmel's still sitting there at 3C. I don't think they're that good. I don't. I think Bolingbrook is this game right here away from getting into the next, getting into that state final game again. And who knows? I could be completely wrong, but I do think Aaron Bailey will start. I think you're going to see a lot of him. We saw it back before when Aaron got hurt a couple years ago and DJ Pruitt took over quarterback. You saw the next year, DJ came in there with some wrinkles. Even had a couple times where he passed to Aaron. So there's some wrinkles.
There's going to be some wrinkles.
There's some wrinkles that they can do now with Quincy having this. But I think if Aaron Bailey comes back, I think the biggest threat that you're going to see is Chandler Pekarsky. He's a big target tight end that really, like I said, since Quincy doesn't pass much, hasn't really been in that. And also, we're forgetting too against Sandberg, Omar Stover, their 1,000-yard back, was out. He tweaked an ankle against Lockport. Didn't practice all week. They hit him. He was out too. So you're not only getting possibly your quarterback back and your top offensive player, you get back your 1,000-yard running back also. So and listen, Jaden House still back there. That defense is still solid as it's going to give. They had 2 touchdowns last week. I think it's at the Brook. That's definitely a tough place to play. I mean,
I think you made your pick about 4 minutes ago. But
yeah, Depot Valley's not going to be real warmly welcome.
if you didn't think these guys are a big Bolingbrook fan over here.